We are here once again for a match preview. Everton versus Chelsea. Let's just get on with it.
All right. Here we go, back again on the other side of the coin.
Welcome back to the other side of the coin, ladies and gentlemen. Everton versus Chelsea match preview. Sorry, I'm a bit late on this. It's only because I've just been so busy on my holiday so far, and the jet lag is absolutely getting to me as well. But nonetheless, we have a match in our hand. I don't know whether I'm going to be able to do a watch along today because during that time I'll be breaking my fast, so I'll be having iftar. So I'm not really sure whether I can actually do a watch along. Probably not. But let's talk about this match. I mean, I don't know how I feel anymore. I've said it to you guys in the last couple of previews of the matches that I just want this particular season to be over. To be honest, I don't know how the players are feeling. The vibe that I'm getting is I think the players are over it as well, with all the adversities that's been happening throughout this particular season. From the sanctions to the ownership of Chelsea Football Club, to the injuries, to the pandemic situation, to the players that are leaving the football club, to players that are doing unsolicited interviews. It's been a mad season. We've only, to be honest, really have FA Cup final to really look forward to. Top four, I think it's done and dusted. I can't imagine how the other teams are really going to catch up to us. We're 6 points in front of Arsenal. We are further a lot more points in front of Spurs. And those two teams, if I'm being absolutely honest, they're not really shown enough consistencies either. So there's only about, 5 matches to go after this. After this, there's only about 4 matches to go. So there's 5 matches to go, including the Everton game. We've got a 6-point gap with Arsenal. I think for me, I would say third place is done and dusted. Yes, I've mentioned it previously in my videos here that I don't want to be below Arsenal. If somehow Arsenal climbs up and they go in front of us, it will be embarrassing. It will be disappointing. But at the end of the day, I think the bigger spectrum of things is that we've not been able to compete. I think for me, third, fourth, even second, what does it even matter? It's about how close we are to the top. And right now, the gap is gargantuan. We are now playing Everton. And you know what the funny thing is, ladies and gentlemen, is that some parts of the fan base are actually saying, and these are proper actual comments from some fans out there, that they're happy if they were to lose to someone, they're happy to lose to Super Frank. I mean, this is the thing. I don't know how I can get this message across to all the fans out there, Chelsea fans out there. Guys, we need to learn how to separate the player from the manager. For some reason, we are so unable to do this, which is quite mad. Frank Lampard as a player was everything to me. Growing up, I've watched so much of Frank Lampard. A lot of the success was, closely correlated to his success. And, we know he's a phenomenal midfielder. We know what a phenomenal player he was. We know the impact he's had for us as a team. But him as a manager, let's be honest, yes, that was a great first season under Frank Lampard in Chelsea Football Club. But I actually, the squad we had, I completely believe that was good enough to be in top 4. And I think that was the bare minimum anyway. I didn't expect us to do extreme damage in the Champions League, and we didn't in that first season under Frank Lampard. I didn't expect us to do anything major in terms of title challenge, and we didn't. I thought maybe we could sneak a domestic cup as well, which we were very close to. And look, it is what it is. We didn't get it. Arsenal pipped us at the end in the FA Cup. But yes, as great as it was, I kind of expected that. And I'm not taking anything away from Frank Lampard. What he did in that first season in a transfer ban, introducing all these youth players and galvanizing us to get top 4 in order for us to compete the season after when transfer ban was over, I completely appreciate that. But I have to say, and I have to be honest with each and every one of you guys, I personally don't think Frank Lampard is a manager. I think he should have been a pundit. As a pundit, he was a fantastic pundit. I would love to listen to what he had to say. I think he was working for BT Sports and whatnot. I think a few times he was in BN as well. And I've always enjoyed his punditry, his knowledge of the game, the way he spoke about it was fantastic. Not everyone needs to be a manager. It's not a shame if you don't become a manager. You can just as much be successful as a pundit. And I think he had the right attitude to be a pundit. But for some reason, okay, fine, he's gone on to be a manager. And as I said, I have to be honest, I don't think he's a very good manager. He's got to learn a lot. And I think his learning has taken a bit of fast track sort of process because of getting that Chelsea job. Had he had stayed at Championship with Derby or even with another team, at least he could have got a few more seasons under his belt, learned his trade, man management, so on and so forth, tactical understanding, going through hardship during a season. Even if he'd gone to a Scottish Premier League in one of the clubs over there, I think it would have suited him a lot better. Steven Gerrard, yes, he's struggling in the Premier League as well, but at least he knows he's done enough hours, he's done enough years in other leagues before attempting to be a Premier League manager. And even then, Aston Villa, who's a very, very good club, and he started off in that particular level. He didn't start off with a Liverpool per se. And with Frank Lampard starting off with Chelsea, I think that was a bit. It was definitely a bit fast track for him. Now he's the manager of Everton, and I think they're going to be close to being relegated, if I'm being absolutely honest. Burnley has leapfrogged them. I think Burnley's got about 5 points in front of them. Yes, Everton has games in hand, but Everton's fixtures are absolutely mad. And look, they're probably in with a battle with Leeds at the moment. I don't know whether they can be able to catch Burnley. Burnley are playing some really good football. They're winning games. It's crazy how they've sacked Sean Dyche, and all of a sudden they're winning games, and they're winning it very handsomely as well, which kind of says, was Sean Dyche kind of holding the back? Look, at the end of the day, Sean Dyche has done a mad job for them, so I'm not taking anything away from that. But coming back to Everton, I don't know whether this was a perfect job for Frank Lampard. And also from Everton perspective, I really don't understand why Everton selected a particular manager that doesn't have any experience in a relegation battle. So it's all a bit mad. But in comes Chelsea Football Club, ladies and gentlemen, to sweeten the deal, I suppose. And we've been strange with these type of teams. We've recently played Arsenal, lost. Played Man United, a rubbish Man United team that's getting slapped up by almost every top teams out there. We've got 2 draws against them. We've played this Everton team earlier this season, and we had a draw. And that Everton team was a under 23. There was a lot of kids in that particular team. We've basically unearthed Gordon for them in that particular match, and that was a draw at home at Stamford Bridge. Now we go to Now we go to Goodison Park. And our record at Goodison, to be honest, ladies and gentlemen, isn't that great. We'll have a look at the record. We'll have a look at some of the things that's been going around in social media as well in the last 24 hours in terms of this particular match. I'm not going to dwell too much on ownership situation, but look at this, ladies and gentlemen, in terms of the record that we have with Everton. So 1-1 at home, which was earlier this season. And then last season, we won 2-0. That was at Stamford Bridge. And then at Everton, we lost 1-0. I remember that. That was under Frank Lampard. I think it was a Dominic Calvert-Lewin goal. Duncan Ferguson must have been there at that time. They had that bounce back. And no, that might have been Carlo Ancelotti. 1-0, yeah. Then we won at home 4-0. And then away to Everton, that was the Duncan Ferguson 3-1. That was under Frank Lampard first season. And it's been a while since we won at Goodison Park. It goes all the way back to 30th April 2017. 5 years. Today's 1st of May, so it's actually been 5 years. 3-0. That was the last time that we won over there. It's quite mad, 5 years. So look, what do you want me to say? I'm thinking we go there, we get a win, but we've seen this scenario far too many times where our players, I don't know, they come across teams like this, and it seems like the desire for the other teams are a bit too much. And it's strange. It's either we come across sometimes teams that want to play against us, like, so for example, Man United, they didn't really have a low block or anything like that. They wanted to play. And in those scenarios, we can't be clinical. And then against teams that want to sort of sit back in these sort of situations where they're absolutely playing for their hearts, they're about to get relegated, they're probably going to sit deep. And in these sort of scenarios, we can't seem to be creative enough. So it's either when we are creative, we're not clinical, and when we come up against low blocks, we're not creative. So either we're not clinical or we're not creative enough, and that's been hurting us throughout this season, and to be honest, for a little while. And this is something that needs to change. Our mentality of the players. We can never ever compete against Man City and Liverpool down the track if we don't pick up points in these sort of fixtures. These are some of the latest things that's been going around, ladies and gentlemen. Fireworks are being set off by Everton fans outside the Hilton Hotel where Chelsea are staying overnight before the match. This is from the Everton end. I mean, look at what they're doing, ladies and gentlemen, in order to give an advantage to their team, because they are absolutely in the mud. They're fighting. They're close to getting relegated. I mean, just for a second, deep that Everton are going to be relegated. I could not even imagine it ever being true. And now it is really up to us. If we get a victory, I'm pretty certain they're dead. But I can't even sit here and say that we're going to win, if I'm being absolutely honest. Frank Lampard on Chelsea. Chelsea are a fantastic team. I know them well. I've worked with the majority of the players there, so I know the qualities they have. They're a very good team with a fantastic coach. I mean, look, I wonder how players like Mason Mount, Reece James, they're going to feel coming into this particular match. Obviously, Frank Lampard played a huge part in bringing up their careers. Frank Lampard on facing Chelsea, it is different tactically because of how Chelsea set up and play. It will need concentration and focus from minute 0 to 90. We need discipline. I mean, look, that's a good praise, but if I'm being absolutely honest, we have lapses in concentration as well. So you can catch us out in the counter. There is no doubt about that one bit. Frank Lampard on comparison on competing for Premier League with Chelsea and fighting relegation with Everton. It feels very similar. I'm very used to handling pressure. I used to be upset not to have a season with pressure. And as it means you aren't achieving. I mean, perhaps it is similar types of pressure. One type of pressure is to get success and getting silverware, and now this type of pressure is just keeping your team afloat in the Premier League. Frank Lampard on Everton team news to face. Chelsea, Yerry Mina is back in the squad. Ben Godfrey is out. That's a huge loss for them. He's actually been a pretty good defender for them in recent times. Dominic Calvert-Lewin is back in the squad. Donny van der Beek is out, not fit, nor is Andre Gomez. Look, I mean, Donny van der Beek hasn't been in the squad for a little while, so that shouldn't be an issue. But I think Ben Godfrey will be a miss for them. Let's make this particular lineup, ladies and gentlemen. This is my predicted lineup for this match coming up. Let me just sort this out a little bit. Look, I'm going to go with a strong team. As I keep saying, it would be good to pick up these victories, moving into getting into some momentum, moving into this FA Cup final, which will be on the 14th of May. But I don't know. I don't know what the status is of our players. I get the feeling they're over it as well. So when you have that mentality, you really care? I don't know. I'll go with Mendy. I wouldn't be surprised if Kepa gets any matches as well. I think right now you could probably afford to give some matches to Kepa. Top 4, we're done and dusted on that one. I don't think we're missing out on top 4. Now it's a whole question of whether we can keep being third, I suppose. And I would like to be third, but at the end of the day, as I said, it doesn't really even matter. I don't want to celebrate a third position, but yes, I don't want Arsenal to be in front of us. I'll go with Silva, Rudy, and I'm going to look. I would like to go with Chalobah. I'm pretty certain it's going to be Azpilicueta. So look, my team would be Chalobah. I think it'll be Azpilicueta. I'd play with Reece James. Kovacic is still out, ladies and gentlemen. Hudson-Odoi is still out. Ben Chilwell is still out. Besides that, everyone else is on. Alonso, what a story it would be if Alonso got the winner against Everton. After you guys all remember what happened to him against West Brom under Frank Lampard. He got banished off the team, and apparently he didn't speak to Frank Lampard for 3 months until Thomas Tuchel took over. So what a story that would be. I'm pretty sure some of our fan base would actually hate that. They would like to see us lose, which is crazy. And I'm not making this up. Go to social media, and I kid you not, there are certain fans that are actually saying, if I was to lose, if we were to be a charity FC, what better team to be charity FC to than Super Frank's Everton? Like, you're kidding yourself, honestly. I'm going with Jorginho in the middle. And I'm also keeping Kante. As I said, I want to play with a strong team. Up front, look, there is a lot of talk about Havertz. For me, Havertz has been very good. Yes, in the last few games, it's been a bit dodgy, especially that game against Man United. He should have buried a couple of his chances, and he didn't. But I don't want to just drop him off the back of that. I think that will demoralize a player like that. It's almost as if, if I miss, then I get dropped. It shouldn't be like that. Havertz has actually been a better player for us throughout this particular season, especially this particular year, start of this year. So I'm still going with Havertz up front. My still philosophy is that I don't think Havertz is a striker. I honestly think Havertz is a more of a second striker, and I've got no issues for him to be a second striker down the track for us, along with a proper striker, whether that's going to be Lukaku, whether that's going to be Werner, I don't know. But for me, Havertz is not a out-and-out number 9. He's a second striker, and Havertz is not someone I can expect next season 20, 25 goals to lead us to a title challenge. I'm not saying we're going to win the title, but at least close the gap. I don't think Havertz is that type of a player. I think as a second striker, 10 to 15 goals, why not? But for this match, he'll play up front. We'll continue with Timo Werner. I think he's been pretty good. Just like before, I wouldn't mind seeing Ziyech, Lukaku, and Pulisic come off the bench and try and see what impact they can do again off the bench. And Mason Mount. I know, look, a lot of people, and myself, I was critical about Mason Mount's performance against Man United. I don't think it was that great. But, I would look. I wouldn't be surprised if Ziyech comes in, and you all know how much I love Ziyech. So, look, I'll have Ziyech in the background. I wouldn't be surprised if he plays something in that kind of position to up front with Werner and Havertz and Mount or Ziyech just behind them. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's my team. I'm continuing with the strong team. I'm hoping for a victory, but I'm not going to be surprised if we drop points. And I won't even be surprised one bit if we lose, to be honest, because let's face it, that's what we've been doing. So this is the team, ladies and gentlemen. Mendy, Rudy, Silva, Chalobah, RJ, Alonso, Jorginho, Kante, Mount, or Ziyech, Werner, Havertz. That's my team. Look, I'm thinking 1-0 victory. I'm thinking 1-0 victory for me, for Chelsea. But if I'm being honest, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a 1-1 or even a 1-0 victory for Everton. In a particular counter attack. But you let me know, guys, how you feel about this match. What's your score prediction? And are you one of those fans that's thinking, Super Frank, let's get a victory for him? If you've enjoyed this, smash the like button. If you're here for the first time, subscribe, hit the bell notification to stay in touch with all my content. Until next time, see ya.